If people didn't praise online celebrities, would you really still copy them? FOMO used to mean the fear of missing out, but for many young people today, it has become something even deeper. It has become the fear of being ordinary. Now, my best friend Priscilla once told me how hating the color pink was never really about the color. I hated it because I wanted to be different from other girls. At first, I thought it was some trivial information, but then I truly realized that it is a societal problem. She wasn't rejecting the color pink. She was rejecting the societal idea of being seen as common and a predictable girl. But answer this. What is so wrong with being ordinary? If I am already being myself, why do I need to become louder, cooler, prettier, funnier, richer, or even more mysterious just to prove my own worth, to prove that I am interesting? Today, I want to persuade you that the fear of being ordinary and performing behavior is a real problem among young people today. It is caused by constant online comparison, unrealistic standards, and the pressure to turn life into purely content. Now, according to the Pew Research Center, an American think tank, nearly half of all teenagers in the US say that they are online almost constantly, and 95% of all teenagers aged 13 to 17 have access to a smartphone. This means that many young people today are not just living their own lives, they are watching other people live theirs. But of course, social media can make us feel more inspired. And there's completely nothing wrong with being inspired because it can help us grow. But if everyone is copying the same kind of inspiration and the same kind of version of different, then what are we actually different? We're not different. If everyone is trying to stand out in exactly the same way, then what we're seeing is not individuality, it is just conformity. Conformity wearing different outfits. This is exactly how the fear of being ordinary begins. Social media is creating a generation that fears being ordinary. And there are quite a few problems. Firstly, performative behavior leads to a gradual loss of society's originality. According to research from the University of Warwick, teenagers often give more attention to their online image and mimic social media influencers to achieve a sense of social belonging. Quote, even when these actions do not truly represent who they are. What does this mean then, crucially? It means that a person may not be dressing or behaving the way that they're actually like. They may simply be asking, what will make people notice me? Secondly then, people lose confidence in their own self. Now, when someone constantly performs for approval, they may begin to believe that their own real self is essentially not enough. Now, psychologist Dr. Benjamin Holtberg, who has studied on people's mindset for over a decade, describes this as performance-based identity, where self-worth becomes entirely tied to external applause. In other words, people believe that their own self-worth is tied entirely and defined by the reaction of others and the appraisal of external applause. But that's literally such a dangerous way to live. Why? Because your happiness should not be entirely reliant on external validation. And when you fake what you like just to appear different, then what you call self-expression is just identity cosplay, the opposite of individuality. The American Psychological Association, APA, warns that teenagers can be especially sensitive to social media feedback and comparison online. This matters because likes, comments, followers, and online praise don't just feel fun to them. It starts to feel like proof of their existence, proof of their worth. To top it off, the Dove Self-Esteem Project reports that 1 in 2 girls surveyed says toxic beauty standards advice on social media causes low self-esteem. Half of all girls surveyed said online beauty standard and advice made them feel worse about themselves, not better. Social media has normalized a life that is not normal. We see teenagers becoming millionaires, influencers shopping every single week, and people traveling constantly, and perfect skin. But crucially, that unrealistic life causes a simple life to look embarrassing, and having a day off look lazy. We start to forget that it is not normal to have a yacht party every weekend or to never have skin breakouts. Most importantly, it is never normal for children of all ages to feel pressured to look perfect before they have even finished growing up. Why should they glow up before they grow up? This is not success, panels. This is consumption fabricated as success caused by society. I chose this issue not only because so many people struggle with it unconsciously, but because it's barely being talked about. It often goes unnoticed. Unlike many other mental health challenges, nobody really wakes up one day and says, I think I'm losing my sense of self. Because they don't realize it. And that invisibility is the danger. The dangers don't show up immediately, but when society gradually loses their own originality and authenticity, social diversity and perspectives then become non-existent. Now, panels, at the end of the day, if people are always copying others online, when will any of us find our own self? Now, of course, social media is not the only cause, because school pressure and family problems can also play a role. But social media can make the pressure even louder by making us compare more and believe that the grass is always greener on the other side. And this problem, note, doesn't only affect teenagers. Celebrities have been seen to advocate for environmentally safety acts, yet still fly private jets. For example, Leonardo DiCaprio. So the solution is not to tell young people, delete every single app and never go online again. That is unrealistic. What do? You redefine what success is. You challenge the society. Because you need to know success is very subjective. And it can mean going to sleep without feeling guilty of not doing enough homework when you have done piles of math pages every single day, or taking a day off. It does not need to mean being rich or famous, because being booked and busy is not always a flex. But how do we become happy when our happiness is tied to external applause then? Firstly, question yourself before doing anything. Performative, because this has worked for me. For example, am I doing this for myself or am I just doing it to be seen? Secondly, most importantly, put your phone down and connect with your family, with yourself, with your friends. Your worth is not measured by online. And maybe panels. Note, the bravest thing we can do in a world obsessed with being watched, copying others, and losing their own originality is to live a life. Yeah, live a life. Not live a performance to be watched by others. Don't try to be different, just be yourself. And that is uniquely different. Thank you.